asset protection trust and offshore asset protection trust. And we will go back to that modular. Some of you have wanted to talk a little bit more about that and had some questions, and so that's obviously a very critical area, and we'll go back to that. But let's, I want to go ahead and start with get going into this because I want to make sure that we finish off the material here. Okay, this is the most important slide of this whole section. And it's why go offshore. And to me, there's only really two reasons why you would go offshore. And the first one is critical. The second one is something that it's nice if you have it, but you don't have to have it. But the first one is essential. If you're going to go offshore, you need to have liquidity, enough liquidity that makes it worthwhile. And most of the people who go offshore, they want to do it because they want to have a nest egg and a hedge against whatever bad could possibly happen. And so that's why they go offshore. And they've got to have at least several 100,000 and preferably probably over $1 million in liquid funds. Now, a lot of clients will want to put them in euros or pounds because that gives them, it's like an investment. It's another hedge against the currency and against the US dollar. It's very difficult now to open bank accounts offshore. The Internal Revenue Service and the US government put tremendous heat on offshore jurisdictions, and with respect to what they're worried about is money laundering and income tax evasion. Of course, our clients aren't doing that, but it's kind of like a rebound effect. It just keeps going back and forth and makes it that much more difficult for clients to set up offshore accounts. We have a lot of trouble with that. Now, there's two ways you can set up offshore accounts. One way is to use a private bank. And that's really the safest way because private banks are confidential and they don't have any jurisdiction in the United States. The problem with the private bank is that they want to manage the money and they want to have complete control over it. It's not like a regular bank account. It's like putting it into an investment process and a money manager process. And so a lot of clients want they don't want that. They want money that they can go on the internet and get it out, or they want to be able to tell the foreign bank to wire transfer the money to them. And so it is difficult, though, to get a foreign bank to open up a U.S. entity account. So that's a problem. And it's also a problem. I'm going to explain to you that it's also a problem with respect, if you don't know the right connections offshore, it's very hard to get anything done because the offshore jurisdictions and the international trust community, they rely much more on personal interfacing than we do in the United States. It's not such a transient society. They go back centuries and they have a very much, they want to know who you are and who they're dealing with, and they want to visit you and find out about you, and they want to know about your family, and they want to know a lot about you, and so it takes years to develop some of these relationships. Now, it helps if there are international connections, and some clients may have international connections that you don't really think about. For example, there are a lot of immigrants here in the United States who have families still offshore, and that would be an international connection. And there are several people who are naturalized citizens in this generation, so they would definitely have family offshore. Another type of international connection is people who own property offshore. I own a condo in Costa Rica, so I'm an international guy.